So let's get into the real point here. We are seeing young people out there, Sasha, and they really want to be like you. They are struggling to be video directors, to be film directors, to make those good films. And the environment looks to be very hard. I don't know on your end, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, I wouldn't say the environment is hard. It was hard 5, 7, 10 years ago. It was so complicated because you have to remember back then technology, all these things, social media, all these things were not there. To me, I feel like right now is the best time to be a filmmaker because now there's no excuse. You have all these things available, all these equipments available, all these gadgets and platforms that are available for most filmmakers. So I would say right now for any filmmaker would be the best time because you have a lot of platforms that are looking at consuming your content. So it is so much, there's so much, and I would say really that it's the best time to be as a filmmaker. So for all the filmmakers out there, I would say right now you need to start creating stuff and, you know, producing content because you don't have to have the biggest and the best cameras out there. I used to think I needed the best cameras back then, but I wish I'd had a phone back then. I probably would have been ahead by now. But I would say there's so many things that are available. You can easily just get your phone and just start recording or filming and just framing stuff and shooting content. You don't need to have the best sound. You don't need to have all these things. And YouTube is there. It's there to provide you with all this information. You can just go on YouTube, follow all these simple masterclasses. I mean, I release my own behind the scenes that I shoot almost on every music video. So there's so many ways you can easily access all this information because I feel like we're in the age of information. So the only way, you can only choose to be ignorant in this age of information because that would just be your choice. So for every filmmaker, first of all, you have to be passion driven. As any filmmaker, if you don't have the passion to create stuff, then you always be lazy. You will never have the drive because filmmaking is tiring. If you don't have that drive inside of you, then definitely you wouldn't be able to even wake up on another day and just go and shoot stuff and, you know, create stuff. You have to be humble. You have to be extra humble. But what I mean by that is because there's so many challenges that come through and you have a big number of team and people that you're working with. You have to be able to accommodate everybody's egos and all these things that go through on set. So once, like, for example, if I'm on set and I'm shooting an artist and then we have like an outburst on set, it doesn't mean you have to you know, kind of attack and disrespect your clients. You have to be able to listen and learn because filmmaking is a process and it's a learning curve for each and everybody. So you have to listen, be humble, be hardworking, be passion driven, and just enjoy what you do. If you do not enjoy what you're doing, then definitely you wouldn't be able to, you know, kind of hit the mark point that I have managed also to hit as well.
Okay, I get your point. But as a person who has experience in filmmaking, Sasha, what are those practical aspects that are so critical to consider when you're going to be a filmmaker?
Come again?
I'm saying like a person that, like you, who has been in this industry for some time with all your experience, what are those critical that you consider so much to be a filmmaker?
Like I've said, you just have to be extra humble. You have to be respectful. You have to be hardworking. You have to be passionate. But also in other things, I would say the practical part is that every filmmaker, you have to be able to at least shoot something a day. Like see something, go shoot, go record something, create, edit, be able to learn and you know, make a lot of research because filmmaking is all about research. I mean, we get a lot of people that are producing content that is so high end that, you know, you have to be able to learn from them. You know, you have to be able to be like, okay, fine, I'm going to consider learning something new each and every day. As a filmmaker, it never stops. You never wake up one day and be like, you know what, I've achieved this, so I'm going to stop. So it's always a learning curve. So those are like, for me, the top 3 main things to consider. Just be humble, be passionate, and create and shoot stuff every day, you know.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so as someone who has been in this industry, you can realize that there was tremendous development in the whole entertainment industry. And if we are to go by the report of UBOS of 2019, we saw a value of 140 billion UGX that this entertainment industry has made. So according to you, what do you attribute this development to?
I mean, you'd have to rephrase your question one more time, but I would say for film, for film, yeah, it's kind of picking up slowly by slowly. I mean, shout outs to people like Lukman Ali who made a movie that is now the first Ugandan movie on Netflix. To me, that kind of put Uganda on the map, and it kind of boosted morale for most Ugandan filmmakers because I shoot most music videos most of the time. But then when that came out, it kind of motivated me to actually, because he's my brother, he's my guy. I mean, I always work with him on different projects. That actually motivated me to actually join the film industry and create more content that is able to kind of hit the mark. I would say there's so many stories to tell in Uganda that I don't think we've even hit 10 or 20% of that mark. I would still I would still say we have a lot, because you see, you have to look at the East African market first of all. Given the culture and traditions that are in the whole East African market, it is very easy to sell a movie that would to sell an industry or create a big industry that would even challenge the Nigerian movie industry. We still have a lot of potential, but I would say we still have a big gap to actually even produce way more and create way more revenue than the Nigerian industry, because it is East African. East Africa has almost like 6, 7 countries, all in just in one, and all these are like Swahili speaking people. So it is still a big gap, but I would say yes, from time to time, with all these things that we are able to see, and if we manage to create harmony in East Africa, then definitely would hit that mark.
Okay, so
But
in
also to
trying
answer your
to
question, yeah, yes, you can finish.
okay, I get your point. I get your point, but in all this you've talked about, you're saying we would have some, meaning that those constraints that are there. What could that be? What is stopping us from reaching there and competing with Nigeria? You're talking about.
I mean, the constraints are still there. If you look at the way we've, and I really do believe in East African community, because that is the only way that the whole industry is going to be able to gain from that. Because if you have Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, Sudan, Congo, that alone just makes the number so big to even bigger than 400 million people in just one area. So if we can be able to kind of maintain this harmony and peace in between these countries, then definitely we will definitely be able to hit our mark, because we are close relatives in a way that we kind of have the same history, same tonation of how we speak, same culture, same customs, and all these things. So if we're able to harmonize, and our governments are able to harmonize all these things, then I would think most of these industries, even other industries, but mostly the filmmaking industry, would be so easy, because we can easily understand our stories. For me, that is what I think is necessary to be done.
Okay, you've talked about the government, and then what comes to my mind is, what should these governments do exactly to make sure they boost the film industry, the video production? What should they do?
There are so many rules that I saw were being passed. I think last year or 2 years ago, so many laws that were passed that I think personally were hindering the filmmaking business, because you have to look at it. This is a business that doesn't even make 5 million. Film industry, filmmaking business that doesn't even make 5 million in a year. Nigerians make almost like 400 million in just 1 year, and they produce almost like 200 movies. In Uganda, you cannot even count 50 movies being produced here, because first of all, there's no support that comes from the government. Almost all these things that you'd see there's so many hindrances that actually kind of hinder as a filmmaker, allowed to shoot at certain locations, you're not allowed to access so many things in town. Or let's say you want to have like maybe fly a drone. Some places you're not allowed to. But I would say yes, that is one of the things that kind of hinder the market. But there's so many other things in terms of the economy itself, I would say people have not yet been motivated or pushed to actually accept our movies. If Century Cinemax shows almost like 99% of these American movies, and you don't have a law that states, okay, fine, show at least 40 or 50% Ugandan movies, and then show 50% American movies, I would say that would kind of, help our industry to, kind of put these things across. So there's so many things that I don't think we can go over through now. But yeah, the government just needs to make it easier for filmmakers. I try and reduce like taxes, taxing equipment that comes in the country, like drones. Most of these things are not allowed to be in the country. So many things are there. I mean, I can't even finish all of them, but just to mention a few.